time out of this day to listen to our presentation today. My name is Alex Atkins, and here are my team members Stephanie Lavani, Allison Lerner, and David Tatt. All together, we make up Alta Consulting, and we're here today to present to you our recommendation on what we believe your company should do moving forward in order to increase net sales as well as appeal to a wider customer base. To give a little breakdown on how our presentation is going to go today, I'm going to start off with a brief history of your company, as well as identify the key issues we believe you need to identify in the future. I'm then going to pass on to Stephanie, who's going to give some internal and external analysis of your company. She's then going to pass on to Allison, who's going to give some alternative recommendations or possible strategies moving forward, as well as give our recommendation on what we believe is the proper growth strategy going forward. She will then pass it on to David, who will give the implementation of our recommendation, as well as the PowerPoint, and then there will be time to answer questions at the end if you have any. When looking at the history of Walmart, one common theme of unprecedented large-scale growth is evident throughout its entire history. In 1962, Walmart was invented by Sam Walton, and using his philosophy of everyday low prices, Walmart was able to keep prices lower than its competitors, which decreased its profit margin but increased total sales. And using this strategy, Walmart was able to see large-scale growth. By 1972, Walmart had 51 stores throughout the U.S. with around $78 million in annual sales. Now, the 1980s was a period of new store development. In 1988, Walmart developed a new store format called the Supercenter, where it combined the general merchandise retail store with the supermarket. Now, this was very successful, and in the 1980s, Walmart became the quickest company ever to reach $1 billion in annual sales. The 1990s was a period of international expansion, where Walmart moved into markets such as China, Mexico, as well as Canada, and did this through acquisitions and partnerships with already established retailers in those markets, and then slowly brought in the Walmart concept into those markets. And by the year 2000, Walmart was employing 1.1 million associates and had around 3,989 stores and clubs worldwide. To paint a picture of the landscape now of Walmart, Walmart currently has around $400 billion in annual sales each year, employs around 2.2 million associates around the world, and serves around 200 million customers every single year. But, however, in 2010 and 2011, net sales have been pretty stagnant. Walmart has always been a company that's tried to increase net sales from year to year, around 10%, but in 2010 and 2011, net sales only increased 1% and 3.4% respectively. Now this brings us to our key issue, which we believe is how can Walmart improve its strategic formula in order to increase net sales as well as appeal to a wider customer base. I'll now pass on to Stephanie, who will do some internal and external analysis.
Great, thank you, Alex. Okay, so now moving into the SWOT analysis, I'd like to begin with strengths. And one of the strengths that Walmart has is its bargaining power over suppliers. And you might be familiar with the company Rubbermaid, which was a company that was sold at Walmart. And since Rubbermaid needed to increase its cost, Walmart decided to drop the product from its shelves in order so it would not have to pass those costs on to consumers. And as a result, Rubbermaid almost went out of business. Likewise, as you may already know, Walmart currently employs a reverse auction mechanism when trying to solicit bids from suppliers. So whatever supplier comes with the lowest bid is the company that Walmart is going to use to fill its shelves. So consequently, when Walmart wants to lower its prices further, it's going to go back to its current suppliers. And it's going to see if those suppliers can meet Walmart's new demand. And if they can't, then perhaps they may face the same fate as Rubbermaid and almost go out of business. Another strength of Walmart is its frugal money management in the sense that it hires more part-time workers than full-time workers. And this is really just to save money on healthcare costs. And as well, it also pays about the minimum wage or a little bit higher in some cases to its workers. Lastly, Walmart has had a lot of successful global acquisitions, specifically in Mexico with Cifra and in the UK with ASPA. It actually partnered with ASPA in order to become the #2 supermarket right behind Tesco. Some weaknesses that Walmart has is even though it's a global company, it's only in 15 countries currently, and we feel that it could expand further. Likewise, Walmart seems to take a very standardized approach when going into new markets, and we specifically see this in Germany, South Korea, and Japan. In Asian markets, for example, you fail to notice that only 20% of your consumers were familiar with the Walmart brand name. Likewise, in Japan, you did not recognize that consumers were equating low cost with low quality. And the simple things in Germany, such as smiling at customers at the checkout, was actually not considered a very suitable gesture and actually detracted customers coming to your store. We also felt that Walmart has a lack of security measures, specifically resulting in theft, which is both internal and external, and can be seen on this graph, which we refer to as shrinkage. It's actually quite surprising that about 47% of the shrinkage is a result of employee theft. And this is a huge problem because this accounts for about a 1% annual loss in your revenue. And also it's about a few $billion annually of your sales. Some of the opportunities for Walmart is that we see move into express grocery stores. This is a great idea because in urban areas you're tight on space, yet they only require about a fourth the space of traditional supercenters. You also have a lot of possibilities in e-commerce, specifically updating your mobile app and looking into RFID technologies, which we'll talk more about later. And we also feel that you could grow into China and beyond after focusing on the U.S. So in the upcoming years, we see that as a possibility. Lastly, there's a few threats for Walmart. One is obviously your number one competitor, Target, as well as other value retail stores and dollar stores. There's also space limitations for Walmart in urban markets, which I just touched upon. And there's also some negative perceived image problems for Walmart. This just stems from a variety of factors, including what Walmart pays its workers, wages, and how Walmart is kind of crowding out other small businesses in the United States. So with that, I'll now pass it on to Allison, who will talk about some alternatives.
Thanks, Stephanie. So one of the alternatives that we considered before implementing our recommendation was to build a supercenter. This would provide the advantage of allowing our customers to have a variety of fast services. However, the issue with this is that we're running out of room to build supercenters in the U.S., so there's not limited room for that. Another alternative that we considered was to increase our international expansion abroad, to give us increased opportunities for growth, and also increase our revenue. However, in the past, as I mentioned, Walmart has had some issues catering to local safety preferences of consumers, such as in Germany, as in also South Korea. So they've had past issues, so there might be an issue there. Increasing focus on the upper income bracket, also something that we considered. However, while this would give us increased revenue and increased sales per customer, we would also be isolating our core customers who earn less than $70,000 a year. And since they make up the majority of our revenue, we think that we should cater to core customers rather than the upper income bracket. A fourth and final alternative that we considered was to explore new store formats, such as drive-thrus. While this would offer increased convenience, we feel that it might fail. We have to do more research about that, and there's potential failure there. There are three additional components to our recommendation. The first component is to improve our e-commerce, specifically by making a more user-friendly app that we currently have. We also want to implement an RFID system, which I will explain later, but basically the first thing we would implement it for places that have items that have a high intention of theft, and if it's successful, then we would implement it for the other items as well. The second component is to build more Walmart Express stores, specifically in the U.S. at first. This would include an emphasis on organic groceries, since they have been healthy groceries and organic groceries have been successful in Walmart in the past. Also, we want to focus more on urban markets. Boston, Cambridge, Detroit, New York, San Francisco, a lot of these cities don't have Walmart stores yet, so we think that by putting these express stores in urban markets, that would be helpful. Also, eventually we want to refocus on China, but right now we want to stick to the U.S., see what works, and since China has increased population, we can implement the RFID system and other things in China later on. The third and fourth component of our recommendation is to continue to improve Walmart's brand image by working with elements. Specifically, we want to appeal to younger audiences ages 0 to 20 through back-to-school promotions, and also by catering to parents of young children. Also, we want to invest in green initiatives, reusable canvas bags, as well as offering plastic as alternatives to paper bags. Just to explain the RFID checkout system a little more, RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification, and it's a system where the customer can leave the store without waiting in line at all. Then they basically give an embedded tag reader on the doors, so as the customer leaves, the tag reader calculates the cost of the item, and then the customer is billed by the bank as they walk out. So they don't have to wait any lines, and there's no more waiting as well. Some advantages of RFID. First of all, it reduces the checkout time, so customers, it reduces efficiency for customers who are running out of time every day. It also reduces costs, which is more efficient for the company. It also reduces theft, which has been a problem, as I mentioned, in Walmart. So people can't not pay because as they walk out, they're automatically billed. Also, salespeople have more time helping customers rather than just checking them out. And it do also put them on the sales research because we know which customers are buying which things. And David is going to discuss our implementation.
Thanks, Allison. So our first stage of implementation involves e-commerce, and we would like Walmart to get a better foothold in the e-commerce market by hiring SourceFix to further improve and develop the mobile app. SourceFix was founded in 2006, and it accounts with past clients such as GE, Coca-Cola, and Hershey's. And although their cost of $100 per hour is on the higher side of other development companies, we project that the sales increases that Walmart will derive will outweigh those costs. Moving on to the second area of e-commerce, as Allison said, we suggest that Walmart implement RFID tags on sales floors. At first, we suggest that Walmart use these tags on high-risk electronic items, and then 6 months later, if the program is successful, move on to lower-risk items. We are aware of previous failures with the RFID system in both 2003 and 2009, as well as about consumer hesitancy with the RFID system due to privacy. But the increased market research that Walmart will derive will outweigh those cons. And as you can see, the more RFID tags Walmart purchases, the more cost efficient it becomes. As you can see, e-commerce sales in the United States increased to nearly $200 billion in the year 2011. They're projected to increase to nearly $300 billion by the year 2015. So clearly this is a space that Walmart can't afford not to be. Moving on to the second phase of our implementation system, we're aware of Walmart's efforts to expand express store formats into urban areas. We would like Walmart to continue this pattern and thus be able to enter previously impenetrable markets such as Boston, San Francisco, potentially even New York City. And this will simultaneously allow Walmart to compete with value dollar store chains. As you can see, it wasn't an exact science, but we came up with a cost calculation for the express stores. One supercenter costs roughly $23 million in investment, and seeing as how the express stores involve roughly 1/4 of that investment, the express stores will cost about $5.75 million. About 2 years after Walmart revamped its efforts in the United States, we would like Walmart to look to China as a potential area for growth. We are aware of Walmart's supercenter and hypermarket formats in heavily populated areas. We would like Walmart to continue that, but in the less populated areas, we suggest Walmart use the express store format to not only appeal to local consumer preferences, but also to sacrifice minimum investment in lower sales areas. As you can see, looking to China is necessary because the sales of consumer goods have been increasing in recent years, and they're projected to continue doing so in the coming years. So China is a place where Walmart can't afford not to be either. And as you can see, we would like Walmart to pursue this order of events because Walmart has been compensating with its lack of U.S. sales by expanding heavily into international areas. And since the United States is Walmart's foundation, we would like it to improve that base before moving into the international segment. Our third and final area of implementation involves brand image, and we would like Walmart to begin a new advertising campaign to appeal to a younger demographic, more specifically ages 0 to 20. This way, Walmart will be able to heavily advertise for annual events such as back to school, Christmas, and Halloween. And this way, they'll be able to compete for airtime on both children's-oriented television and radio stations. The second part of our image effort is to introduce a bag initiative. We would like Walmart to use canvas bags and give them away for 1 week out of the year. As you can see, canvas bags cost roughly 25 cents to make, so it will be roughly about a $50 million expense. And we would also like Walmart to use a paper bag option, which costs about 10 cents per bag. But as you can see, since Walmart has well over $7 billion in cash on hand, it is an affordable expense. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to remind you of Walmart's rich history of growth and expansion. And should Walmart choose to implement our idea of our 3 pillars of e-commerce, growth both at home and abroad, and brand imaging, we believe that Walmart will be able to continue on this prosperous path. At this time, we would like to once again thank you for allowing us to present to you today. We certainly appreciate it, and we invite you to ask any questions that you have.
Thank you. I understand the e-commerce and how we're not capturing what we should be. And if we use one of the greatest examples in the U.S. is Amazon. Do you agree with me? What's Amazon doing that we're not doing that we could learn from?
That's a great question. Amazon.com currently is connecting third-party buyers and sellers, and unfortunately we can't do that at Walmart because we want to sell our own product. We're not trying to have Walmart connect other people with each other. We want to sell our own stuff, and yes, that is one reason why we can't compete with Amazon in that sense.
And also, Walmart has a feature where it recommends items to you that it thinks that you will like, but Walmart also has that feature as well. So we are up to date with Amazon, but we were just talking, defining our global further.
And to do that with the company called SourceFit, is that correct? Tell me, and again, you named a couple of larger companies that use it. Tell me, I'm not familiar, tell me a little bit more about that. And why we should hire that organization.
So as I said, SourceFit was a company that was founded in 2006, and even though at this point they're a relatively new company, as you can see, they've handled past clients like GE, Coca-Cola, Hershey's, so they've quickly scaled their business to the point where they can handle those big name clients such as Walmart. And they not only take clients in the business of developing new applications, but they're also involved in the further improvement of applications. And
So Coca-Cola, I'm not familiar, I've never bought Coca-Cola online. So they've expanded, GE and Coca-Cola have expanded online?
yes,
Marketing?
not necessarily like with their marketing efforts, but I don't know too much about it, to be honest, but they do all have well-standing mobile applications.
Okay, so you don't know a lot about it, what you're recommending it for?
No, not in that sense. I mean, we're not aware of these companies' applications, but
Okay.
we are aware of our application and what needs to be done to improve it.
Okay, so the top two things in that would be what would you say?
Two things we're suggesting for the Walmart app is to have an online grocery checklist where you can actually say beforehand what items you want to put in your grocery cart, and then it will find the nearest Walmart and actually tell you which aisles each item will be in. So that's one of the features we're looking at, and also just to have a more, and also the Walmart store locator of finding the nearest one. You just put it in whatever address you're at currently, or it'll just have it on your iPhone, and then or whatever mobile app you have, and then it will tell you exactly where the nearest store is to where you currently are.
Question for you. You indicate that shrinkage, 47% is allocated to employees, and also that we have more part-time employees than full-time employees, and I'm wondering what your recommendations are to improve employee morale and working conditions, and have you calculated the cost?
We have not calculated a cost for it, but one of our recommendations would be for Walmart to pay a little bit more above the minimum wage, because a lot of the complaints we get from employees is that even though this is potentially their full-time job, or maybe they're getting 38 or 39 hours a week, they still can't make ends meet for their families. And the low morale definitely is playing a huge part in the shrinkage. I mean, there's more shrinkage coming from the inside than from shoplifting, right? So I would recommend that they pay a little bit more above the minimum wage, which they can definitely do, they can afford to do. It's just that there's so many people looking for work right now that anyone will take what's being offered. But that's one incentive that they could do. They can also offer their workers better benefits. Again, they're just doing this to have a cost savings for themselves. But these are all things that could definitely help other employees as well.
So we could pay our employees more and we could give them better benefits.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that recommendation.
On the RFID, do you have any success stories?
Well, RFID is actually a new technology. You may or may not be familiar with it. It's currently used in their Sam's Club stores, but it's used in a warehouse for managing pallets that are coming in and going out of different countries. So it actually hasn't exactly been put to use in the way that we are proposing it, but we've thoroughly examined it and we understand the benefits. It's just more of actually paying to implement it that needs to be done still.
And just to expand on that, that's why we're suggesting implementing it for the first 6 months of just high on items that are known for high theft, and then if that works and theft is down, we're suggesting expanding it to more items in the stores.
As well. We're also, so RFID, as Stephanie announced, is a new and up-and-coming technology, which is why we don't have any transfers as of yet. However, that's why we're also deciding to implement it into the U.S. in the beginning, see if it works, and if it does work with the high incidence of theft items, not only applying it to other items, but also applying it to China and other places abroad with a higher population. So it's kind of like a step-by-step process, so that if it doesn't work, we can go in and try to correct the errors that we might see.
Would you also recommend hiring another company for security?
Well, we will have guards outside in case, when the items scan to make sure that everything is going according to plan. We haven't discussed actually hiring guards other than, Walmart hired security.
Also at Sam's Club, they currently have people that stand outside and just check your receipt, make sure nothing's being stolen. So with our system, we're going to have the same people like at Sam's Club, at your Sam's Club now. They're going to be standing outside the doors, and they're going to be making sure that no items are being stolen. Because there's going to be 2 separate shopping carts. One card, there's going to be a card that's seen on the screen with a visible screen that you'll swipe your card beforehand, and that'll be a way to connect directly to the bank. And then for those that don't have debit cards or credit cards on hand, they will still have the regular shopping carts, and there will still be a few regular lines that you can purchase your items that way.
Or also, if you're familiar, in 2006, Walmart actually decided to stop prosecuting petty crimes of less than $25 that people were stealing from their stores. So again, I don't think they would implement going after people that just steal something worth a few dollars. So really the benefit when it comes to hire more security if you perceive that people are stealing more valuable goods after implementing the RFID.
Can you tell me how you feel this would, the highest theft we have in our stores is employee theft. How would this stop employee theft? What was your thought process there?
Because when employees first join your company, they will also have their credit card information, their bank information on hand, and any items that they walk out with that has not gone through either their superiors that they've acknowledged that they will be taking these items, that they will get charged directly to their bank account.
Another question on your on the bags. You spoke about giving away bags for a week, and you came up with a number of $50 million. Can you explain to me how you came up with that number?
Sure. So as you can see, for the campus bags, correct? They cost roughly between 10 and 25 cents to make. So to stay on the conservative side, we projected costs at 25 cents per bag. And from then it was just a matter of calculating Walmart's average weekly foot traffic and then projecting from there.
And again, what we're talking right now, when you did the SWOT analysis, we had 3 opportunities, correct?
Yes.
And we're getting kind of bogged down a little bit under the e-commerce, just that one little piece of it. Talk to me about how, in what we consider some of the upper end markets, possibly Boston or New York or elitist markets, or why do you believe that Walmart Express is going to be successful there?
Walmart Express is.
Why, under the one of your 3 recommendations was Walmart Expresses in the upper end markets, for example, Boston or New York. Talk to me about how that's really an opportunity for us, if not the Waterloo of Walmart.
Sure. Okay, so we know, for example, in New York City, Walmart hasn't been able to get into that market yet just because of space reasons, like look how big a Walmart is. Also because a lot of the small businesses that oppose it, because it would probably put most of them out of business. We also know that there's a lot of potential for express Walmarts in the city because currently there's a lot of grocery stores that people shop at, but they are higher priced, and they do get away with charging higher prices because maybe they're put in some remote location. But bringing in a Walmart, we feel that there's a lot of like lower class urban population that would benefit from these low prices and with an abundance of goods like what Walmart offers, specifically Walmart's own brand products, which are often cheaper.
Well, then
than-
why didn't you believe you've done it up until this point?
And I guess that, we think that we looked into why Walmart has expanded all over the city. You know, you think New York City that they would have all these stores. There's been a lot of public protests, as something said from small businesses. People don't want to do that business. But on Walmart's perspective, we think that it's a remarkable idea. Lower prices, you know, people in the city they're cost conscious, you know, they're living in apartments, and we think that it's unimaginable that places like San Francisco and New York City, Boston, Cambridge don't have Walmart stores there.
Well, why changing the footprint or making it a little bit smaller to change the fact that public perception or the fact that there's zoning issues that have been blocked out of these marketplaces?
Right. Well, New York City definitely we would have to overcome the public protest from the other vendors, I guess. But in other places, possibly Boston, Cambridge, places like that, we think that there's a lot of opportunity there that haven't had as much public protest as New York City.
Even though we can get bogged down for years in zoning issues.
I'm sorry, what?
Even though we can get bogged down for years in zoning and zoning issues in the cities, you still would recommend that.
Well, we think that if we do succeed with that, that it would be a major source of increased revenue since the cost is so low at Walmart compared to other areas in the city. So we think that although it might, your department might have some issues with zoning and time issues, we think that it might be profitable, really profitable in the end, so we think it's worth it.
Gotcha. My last question, why wait for 2 years to renew our efforts in China?
We want to wait because about 60% of Walmart sales come from the United States, so clearly the United States is Walmart's foundation. And it's our belief that in order to improve at the top of things, you kind of need to improve at the foundation first. So after revamping those efforts in the United States, Walmart will be able to look to China due to its past success in the United States.
And you recommend that we wait, but if we want to move forward, are you still the consulting company for us?
Absolutely.
Even though we go against your recommendation?
I mean, we're always willing to negotiate with other opportunities. And just to add to what I was saying earlier, we project that our increased revenue in the United States will allow us to implement our recommendations in China.
So even though you recommend waiting 2 years, we want to go now, and you would be on board with us?
Oh, yeah. The reason that we wanted to wait with China is because China has an increased population, so we wanted to kind of start small and then move bigger. So I think the highest, the best, we want to start with that. But China, you know, even though it has a high population, we could still try to implement it if that's what you guys choose to do.
We're also here to serve and consult you guys, so if there's anything that you guys wanted to do, we would implement that into our recommendation.